Hi, I'm Greg from Greg's Bass Shed. Welcome to the lesson. So I've decided that it's well overdue that I cover a ZZTop bass line. So I'm going to look at Master of Sparks. Now, for those of you that don't know, the bass player from ZZTop was Dusty Hill, and sadly he passed away recently, but he played with the band for over 50 years and he's known as a really solid and dependable bass player. The bass line from Master of Sparks isn't particularly complicated, but really the focus here is holding down a solid groove throughout the whole bass line. So the tempo is 126 BPM, so you've got to make sure that you don't rush the running eighth notes that you play in the verse. As usual, you can get a copy of this bassline transcription on a PDF in standard notation or tab, and you can get that by clicking the link below this video in the description. So that PDF will really help you as you work through this lesson. You'll also be able to find this lesson on my website. So what I've done, I've embedded this video lesson and I've embedded the transcriptions as well, so you can kind of work from that page. So if you head over to gbshed.com, look under free resources and you'll see the transcription pages there in the menu. And also I've put a link again below this video in the description, so you can just click there and that will take you straight to the video page for this lesson. So on to the bass line. Well, the bass line is just in two sections. You've got the first section that starts on the intro with the main riff, and then you've got the verse section, and that kind of just repeats throughout the song with some very slight variations. So I'm now going to play that opening riff for you. So the riff starts on A, so 5th fret of the E string, and it's just A, G, A for the first bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. Okay, so it's all about these rests in that riff. Make sure you get the rests correct. So I suggest that you count through the bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you've got any eighth notes, you can do the and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we move on. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, so they're just eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4 and then we've got A, E, G, G sharp, A, C. Okay, I'll play that little run. Okay, so again, just those, this is the third and fourth bar. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so I'll play the first line. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we move on to the second line. Again, that just starts with the same as the first two bars. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this changes slightly for the next two bars. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so it's just a longer run there. So we've got, this starts the same. A, G, A, E, G, G sharp, A, C. And then we move on, C sharp, D, E, G, okay. Okay, so I kind of, you've got to shift slightly, so I play that A with my little finger, but you can actually use your third finger, it's up to you. And then I shift there. And then little finger, and then G there with your first finger, okay? So I'll just play that second line now. So 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, down to the G and hold that for, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so up to 4 again. So it's all about counting for this bit, and then that's all on A. That's a sort of A minor riff, and then we move on to E. So then we've got, so I just use E on the 7th fret, the A string, do do do. Okay, and then we've got offbeat notes here, so we play them on the ands. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, so I'll just put that music up here now so you can see. Don't worry if you can't read notation, just look at where the rhythm is. Okay, where I've put the main beat. So the main beat is obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, and the ands are the 8th notes afterwards. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. So if you don't do anything else, just make sure that you count through the first bar and you play after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's that pattern, and that's repeated 4 times, but for the last 3 times we put some low E's in. So that's probably the fastest thing in the whole bass line. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 times. Okay, so that's the opening whole section there. I'll play that for you again now. So remember, just when you get to the E minor, you play it the simple one first, and then the next with the low E's 3 times. Okay. By the way, if you've not subscribed already, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can press the red subscribe button and click the bell as well, and that will just notify you of any new video releases. And generally I release a YouTube video every Saturday at 10 AM. But you can also head to my website gbshed.com. I've got transcriptions, lots of free bass resources, and also some courses, video courses and books. So that's gbshed.com. And again, if you look in the description, there's loads of stuff, loads of different links to different resources. So check out the description. We'll now move on to the verse, and we've got a driving 8th note pattern throughout the verse. Now, often when we change chord, we change on 4 and instead of 1. So we change just before the first beat of the next bar, and they're called pushes, okay? Because you're just pushing the chord a little bit before the beat. So that's kind of really common in rock to kind of have these pushes. So almost every chord is pushed. The chords of the verse follow a 16-bar sequence. So we've got 2 bars of A minor, a bar of D minor, and a bar of A minor. Then we've got 2 bars of A minor, a bar of D minor, and a bar of F. Then again, this is the same as the first 4 bars. 2 bars of A minor, a bar of D minor, a bar of A minor. And then we've got 2 bars of A minor, a bar of E minor, and a bar of D minor. So that's the sequence for the verse. So I'll now play the verse through for you now, and listen out for those pushes. So for the A minor bars, we kind of start with A's and then E, G, A. Okay, and that's the push. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Okay, then we just have another bar of the same thing, but this time we push to D. D. So that second bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and okay. So then we're on the D, D, C, A. Okay, D, C, A. And then that A bar for the fourth bar is exactly the same as the other A's, okay? So really for that line you just need to learn the A bar and then the D bar. Okay, so in the next line again we've got that same pattern on A minor and then up to D, and then we just play this F and we play that on beat 2. Okay, so I'll play you that whole second line. Okay, and that's quite obvious from the from what the guitar's doing and what the drum's doing when you play it with the bass line. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then the third line is exactly the same as the first line. And then the last line. And then E, so E to D. So I'll play from the second bar of the last line, so A, E, E flat, D, and then E, G, A. Okay, so that's the end of the verse. So I'll play that last line, 3, 4. And then you're onto the A and the next verse. Okay, so that's the two main sections for the whole song. Now when we get to the second verse, it's exactly the same, but at the end of the second line, instead of playing F on that stop, we play C, okay? So that's the fifth of F, so the chord stays the same, we're just playing a fifth. Okay, so that second line of the second verse, 3, 4. So that's the C, okay, so high C there, 5th fret of the G string. And then we're on to the third verse, and that's exactly the same as the first verse. And then we get to the stops again, the kind of riff. So it's the same as the intro. Okay, and then on this E section, this just goes round and round. We play the first basic one, and then we play another 7 of these. Okay, and that's underneath the guitar solo. All right, so we play, so really that E section, you've got the kind of 2 bars of the simple one, and then you've got the ones with the low E. So you've got kind of 8 times round the whole lot for the E minor sections. That's guitar solo. And then on to verse 4. So that's exactly the same, but when we end it, we just end on an E. Just on a low E and open E. Okay, so that's the whole bass line. So what I suggest you do, practice it very slowly until you get all these pushes right. So it's the target tempo is around 126 beats per minute. So I would just start, no, maybe 90. Just start without the metronome until you're happy, then start building up the speed if you're struggling. So it's just more important to get it right than to play it at full speed first of all. Now I'm playing this lesson on my homemade bass. This is like an early style P bass, or telly bass as they're now called. So Dusty Hill used his a kind of similar type bass with one pickup, an early P bass on a lot of his recordings, and I presume it's on this album as well. So he gets a really fat sound. I mean, I've seen sometimes he's got really had short fingers. He kind of plays like the whole lot sometimes, kind of like that. But it kind of almost, there's a sort of click on the recording, almost sounds like it's picked, but I don't think it is, because you can kind of get that from the frets. So if you want to get near to the kind of tone, obviously you're not going to be able to get the sound that he got because it's unique to Dusty Hill, but if you want to get near to the sound, then you can use kind of an old school kind of P bass, telly bass, or do it on another P, or you can kind of adjust a sort of J bass. But that's the kind of sort of sound that he was getting. Make sure you pick up the free PDF below, and I'd love to hear if there are any other ZZTop bass lines that you'd like me to cover. I love Dusty Hill's playing. I love ZZTop as well. There wasn't kind of really hard bass lines that he played, but they're really solid, and they just groove really nicely. You can also help me out by liking and sharing this video. That helps kind of push it up YouTube a bit for other people to see. And if you felt that you got some good value out of this lesson, then you can always buy me a coffee. There's a link below in the description that you click on, or you can see the link here at the bottom of the screen. Just type that in and you can get me a coffee, and that kind of helps to keep these YouTube videos and free PDFs free for everyone. Don't forget to check out my website, gbshed.com, and I'll hopefully see you very soon in the next video lesson.